The GPi case from Retroflag is one of my most favorite devices that have recently came out. It's an awesome handheld that is almost fully put together for you. All you need to do is add a Pi Zero W, micro SD card, and get gaming. The hard part for some is going to be adding the games. So today we're going to take a look at a brand new 32 gigabyte image from Magnus RC that is ready to play and has a couple thousand games included. This is the Magnus RC Supreme GPi 32 gigabyte image. So this image uses the Supreme base image, which includes a ton of scripts, including background music, different tools for audio, controls, visuals, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity, and some restore features. It also includes an online build updater to download, change, or upgrade your Supreme GPi image very easily. If you need to connect to your Wi-Fi, you will need to set up your credentials using the WPA supplicant config file. Type in your Wi-Fi name and password, save the file, drop it on the root of your memory card. Very simple stuff. The team behind the base image, they did decide to change the login when trying to use PuTTY or an FTP client to log into the build. Instead of what everyone is used to, it has been changed to the password being Supreme Team with the username remaining Pi. Just somewhat of an annoyance for, what we're normally accustomed to. Never really see a reason for that being changed, but hey, it is what it is. So there's going to be a couple things that we do need to do with this build when first booting the image. The first is going to be changing the GPi case to access mode for controls. This is a hardware issue, not a software thing. So changing this and then using another image that doesn't use access mode, you can change the GPi case back to hat mode easily. So to change to access mode, simply hold the D-pad left and hold select for 5 seconds. I've already done so, so it's not a big deal, but the little light up top will blink purple, showing that it has been done. If you don't do that, your D-pad won't work. So keep that in mind. Now, if you use another image, it just sets to the GPi case. It's not like something saved to the image necessarily. If you go to use something else that uses the hat mode, you would hold select and hold up for 5 seconds to change it back. So just something you have to keep in mind. So the next thing that we will need to do is on the image, we will navigate to options. We do need to expand the file system. So we will go to Raspi config. So, okay, now that we're in here, we will need to go down to, so you will go to advanced options and then tab over with your D-pad to select. And then the top one, expand file system. You'll go ahead, tab over. So select is highlighted, press the B button. Once that is done, it'll go through it. I've already done it. And then when you try to back out, it'll ask you to reboot. Do reboot because that's how everything takes effect. So now that we've taken a look at that, we've expanded our file system. Let's take a look at what's included on this build. So we'll take a look at the games and stuff in a second, but just like I noted earlier, there are a ton of options in the options setting, tons of different scripts, GPi control updater, reset controls. You have audio tools, emulation tools, a bunch of things you can open up, open bore, scum, all that stuff from here. Tons of different options, your RetroArch configs, save folders, pretty cool stuff, RetroPie tools, tons of different utilities that you can mess around with. Most of the stuff you may not use, but then we also have different scripts for themes, theme randomizer, which is pretty awesome. There are 2 themes on here, both Dwayne Hurst themes, Boxicity and can't remember what this one's called, but we could take a look at that in a second. But there are a lot of cool things here. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, fix my build, tons of cool stuff. Supreme online tool updater if you need to do that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and see. It's kind of the menus on this, the GPi case. It's hard to read some of this stuff, but let's see. We have this one is Hey Chromie, and then Boxicity. I remembered what the other one was. So if we go ahead and let Boxicity load up, So here is Boxicity on the build. Pretty cool stuff. Some people will, dig one or the other. Hey, Chromie or Boxicity. They both work very well on this build, so can't complain. But since we switched to this one, we'll just leave it here for now. So let's take a look at what is included. So all games available, 2,508 games, but definitely expandable. This 32 gigabyte build, I kind of recommend putting it on a 64 gig card because it is kind of maxed out pretty much. So it'll be better putting it on a 64 gig. And memory cards these days are fairly cheap. So the price difference between a 32 and a 64 isn't really going to be crazy anymore. And then you can expand upon it, add more games if you choose. So arcade classics, take a look at what we got here. A bunch of arcade stuff, Bad Dudes, Captain Commando, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, Gauntlet, Ghouls and Ghosts, Miss Pac-Man, tons of awesome classics here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Simpsons, X-Men. We'll test a few games in a second here, but just want to go through the list. 21 games for that. Atari Lynx, really awesome. We have all our box arts, our screen grabs, everything going here. So tons of Atari Lynx games. Pretty sweet. That's kind of stuff I like for the GPI case, having these handhelds. 313 Sega Game Gear games. All the classics, your Sonics, your Castle of Illusion, Mickey Mouse, Bare Knuckle, all that good stuff. The one thing with this build and any other build on this case, sometimes it can be a little sluggish going through the list because it is loading up those graphics, but just be patient with it. Game Boy, 680 games, all the classics, the Adventure Islands, Super Mario Land, all that good stuff, your Pokemons. So let's go on forward. Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance is hit and miss with this system. But there are some games that are going to run. So we don't have the complete collection of Game Boy Advance games here, but a nice selection of them at 141 games. Game Boy Color, 605 games. Take a look at that. Looking pretty nice. Really a nice varied build. It is missing some stuff that, why isn't that on here? But easily addable. Sega Master System, 358 games. Pretty cool stuff. Some crossover with Sega Game Gear, but you know what? There's a lot of awesome exclusives on the Master System, so really do dig checking out the Master System on any of these builds. Neo Geo 146, so pretty much the complete setup here. We'll have to jump into a Neo Geo game in a moment. PC Engine CD, we have 11 games here. And I have tested these and Rondo of Blood loads up and plays fine. Really cool stuff. Power options, just shut down or system restart. But that's what your Switch does because we have that script installed on this. PlayStation 1, another system that's really hit and miss, but a lot of the 2D games are going to play well. A lot of the 3D games as well, just the stuff that's not crazily demanding. I know the guys behind these images have put in a lot of work tweaking things to get PlayStation running properly. So nice little selection here. Little portable PlayStation 1. Back to our configuration, Scum VM. 15 Super Nintendo games. Oops. Nice little handful there. Super Graphics, the 5 Super Graphics games. This one, Dai Makamura, I can never say that correctly. Ghouls and Ghosts, Ghosts and Goblins, whatever it is. This one I was having some sound issues in. That's really the only one I remember, but I think there might have been something else. But that one for sure was the one. I had some sound issues that would come in and out. TurboGrafx CD. Handful of games there. Dungeon Explorer. Nice. And then our TurboGrafx games. Air Zonk, Bonk, all that good stuff. And I think that may be it. Yeah, we're right back to all games. So let's test a couple things real quick. You know what? Air Zonk's an interesting one. So there you go, Airzonk. TurboGrafx playing extremely well. Hit select and start to exit out of the game. Let's find something else. Let's see Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo is kind of a hit and miss thing on Pi Zero. So let's check out Mario Kart. So there you go, Mario Kart playing and sounding well. I might not be playing it very well at this moment, but it looked good. What else? Let's check out a PlayStation game. We just gotta see. We gotta see something here. Let's check out Ridge Racer. I know I've tested Crash Bandicoot before on the GPi case on video, and it worked just fine. So really impressed to see PlayStation running. So there we go, Ridge Racer. I did notice there's quite a bit of slowdown here and there. There's some parts where the game runs very smooth, but there is some slowdown with that game. Definitely with the the PlayStation games I've tested so far, there's a lot that work very well. But this is not something I would invest money in thinking that you're going to be playing a bunch of PlayStation games. Don't buy this for PlayStation. Buy this for your old school portable games, your handheld games, some of your 16-bit stuff, so on and so forth. You will find some stuff that works pretty damn well. But Ridge Racer, that was a little hit and miss there, man, for my taste. Definitely not something I will be playing on here. So let's check out some Neo Geo before we wrap this up. Garou Mark of the Wolves. Let's see if that works. Here we go. So there we go, Garou Mark of the Wolves. Garou, Mark of the Wolves. What a cute spot, huh? I love small animals, yay. But there we go. Pretty solid image in my opinion. Definitely missing some stuff that I'm surprised. Like NES NES is kind of a given. Like, NES runs very well on the GPI case with, the Pi Zero W. Most of the stuff I've tested so far works very well. Like I said, there's a couple games that you saw Ridge Racer on the PlayStation 1 struggles a little bit. There's still a lot of PlayStation games that run very well. But like I said, this is not something, a system, that you want to get to play those types of games. Kind of keep the expectations real with 8-bit and handheld stuff, and you'll really enjoy this thing. It is cool to have Neo Geo running very well on here, handful of PlayStation stuff, some Super Nintendo stuff, and Game Boy Advance. But those are things too, like Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo. It's going to be hit and miss. Your special chip games in Super Nintendo aren't going to work. So if you're going to build on this image, which is something I'm going to do, I'm going to be testing it further, kind of adding and removing some stuff. Definitely going to add NES, but keep those things in mind if you're going to build on this with a 64 gigabyte card. I am really digging this image with all the options that the Supreme team put on it. All the work that Magnus RC put into getting this set up and ready to go is really appreciated. So, hey, just wanted to share this with you guys today. With that said, appreciate it. Peace out. Bye-bye. And boom. Catch you guys next time. Bye. Thumbs up. Hi, thumb. Bye.